Tracking what could be a rare October heat stretch, I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. Not only rare for how hot the temperatures are going to be, but for how long this will last. As you can see, we started off our Monday on this last day of September with well above average temperatures, but then we really start digging into some heat Tuesday and Wednesday. Now that heat stretch extending into Thursday, and even when we start to see some relief into our Friday and Saturday, we're still seeing above average temperatures. It's just more within a range of about 5 to 10 degrees, but parts of central and southern California will still be about 15 to 20 degrees above average. So the ABC 10 weather impact team calling for those weather impact alert days Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with near record temperatures, with the need to again practice heat safety, shade, hydration, really limiting time outdoors because of these extreme conditions, at least for this time of the year. I know we've seen stretches of 100s already this summer, but this deep into the season is a somewhat rare event. Here's a look at those future wind gusts. Earlier today, we were talking about more elevated fire danger. Those winds will start to back off. Now, the most problematic areas tended to be west of I-5, north of I-80, right along this stretch right here. And you can see the color contours really coming down from what we were seeing yesterday during our forecast, because we're just seeing some isolated pockets in there. So we'll monitor this for elevated fire weather, but overall much less widespread than certainly what we were seeing this morning, where we had some wind gusts approaching about 30 miles per hour there on the west side of the valley, which doesn't seem like much, but it only takes a little bit of wind this time of year, especially with several months without any rain and these temperatures, to really spread a fire pretty quickly. The good news is we saw a little fire brewing in Amador County. They got on that quickly, and it really didn't amount to too much. We'll continue to see that as they mop up some of the fire conditions there. But in terms of anything widespread, right now, things are okay. Tracking records, though, as this high pressure ridge moves over, it is directly overhead, sinking warming air. We're talking about near record heat actually throughout a good portion of the west. Now we've got a heat advisory into place. This is again new as of Monday afternoon. It extends all throughout the Central Valley of Sacramento Valley into the San Joaquin Valley and through parts of the Bay Area through Wednesday evening. However, the National Weather Service saying may indeed actually stretch that into our Thursday, just kind of waiting for some weather models to come in to see if we want to stretch that into our Thursday forecast. Once we head over deeper into the Bay Area, excessive heat warning goes into place until Wednesday evening as well. Here's the interesting thing about the Bay Area is that the afternoon highs can sometimes hit around 11 to 11:30 in the morning. Once we get a little trickle of an onshore flow coming in, temperatures can knock down pretty quickly during the afternoon. So we may see more morning warmth than, say, late afternoon warmth. We also have, if we move our way southward here, just south of Monterey, a fire weather watch in place Wednesday into Thursday. You can see that's going to stretch all the way through San Luis Obispo and through parts of Santa Barbara as well. Some of those mountain ranges really vulnerable at this point, and the canyons get really tough to access, especially for those fire agencies, if a fire were to start, to get into those canyons and to get that fire contained. In terms of our relative humidity, now because of the direction of those winds, they're north winds and offshore winds, that tends to really dry things out so quickly and set the stage for the heat as well. So tomorrow morning, we start off with humidity about 30%. That gets down to the single digits throughout the valley. For the foothills, it's only about 5 to 10%. And even for the Sierra, about 15 to 25%. Bay Area, only about 24%. That's really low for the coast, considering how close they are to the ocean. So we're going to continue to monitor that low relative humidity, the fire danger through our Tuesday. Fire season comparison, we're a little bit lower than the 5-year average for acreage. I mean, very little difference here, but we're definitely higher than last year. The past 2 years have been pretty low in terms of our big fire outbreak. This year, we started to see things coming a little closer to average, and really the fall season is one of the most dangerous times because of the fact we just haven't had a whole lot of significant rain. The last time we had significant rain in downtown Sacramento and for parts of the Sierra, we have to go back several months, back to early May. So that's June, July, August, September, October, nearly 5 months where we've gone without a whole lot of wetting rain or Sierra snow. And with the heat that we had this past summer, record-setting heat, that dried out the fuel pretty rapidly. Today is going to be the last day of our water year. We start the water year off in California October 1st, and we run it all the way through the following year, September 30th. So again, we're going to wrap up the water year as of today. And since we're not going to see any rain tonight into early tomorrow morning, we're going to keep this right as it is right now. So since October 1st, you can see there's just a few isolated areas that didn't get up to their normal or exceed their normal. Overall, not a bad water year, in fact. We're starting to see our drought monitor grow ever so slightly, but it stayed status quo from the week to week. We didn't see anything grow in terms of our drought severity and coverage index or the abnormally dry, the moderate, or the severe. Status quo for the past week. And once we get deeper into October, if we don't start seeing some rain, say around mid-October, then things might start to turn a little bit and we might see those contours changing for the drought monitor. What doesn't help is this heat. So we talk about evaporative conditions that are continuing to dry out fuels and just what that's doing to the drought monitor. That will play a factor here. So the timeline now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, we're looking at that low relative humidity. We already showed you that with humidity less than 10%, possible record highs. And then Tuesday night, what's interesting about this is with just a hint of a north wind and offshore wind, we could potentially be seeing some record warm lows. It could be a very warm night for us Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. So our heat risk continues into Wednesday with near record highs and Thursday as well. Now, the deal with Thursday is it doesn't look quite as widespread as, say, Tuesday and Wednesday, but given that the northern San Joaquin Valley in particular is still going to be flirting with those records on Thursday, we'll keep those weather impact alert days going through Thursday. The main headlines for this will be the elevated fire weather, the near record heat, and the major and in some areas extreme heat risk. You can see how we start to shift those color contours into our Tuesday with more moderate or major heat risk developing, I should say. So anybody without effective cooling or adequate hydration runs a risk of having those heat-related illnesses. And that being true, especially for the Bay Area, where a lot of folks just don't have air conditioning because, quite frankly, you don't really need it that much. Once we get into our Wednesday, we start to see pockets of that extreme heat risk. By Thursday, we'll start to see this back off ever so slightly, and then we're still kind of in that moderate to moderate range generally into our Friday. So here's a look at the possible record rundown for Tuesday. Downtown Sacramento, right now, forecast high of 100. The record sits at 101. Sacramento Executive, the record stands at 102, the forecast 100. Stockton, forecast is 102, the record 100. And Modesto, we are forecasting the same temperature, 99 degrees, as the current sitting record. But within a degree or two, this is going to be near record heat and very possibly falling. 2024 so far has been one to remember. We're going to be adding some more numbers to this right here. We've already had a record number of days at 100 or above. That currently stands at 45. The average, by the way, is 24. We'll very likely come close to doubling it by the time this week is done. As far as 105 plus degree days, so far we've had 16. The average is 6. The good news in this is I'm not forecasting anything 105 or above. And as far as 110 degree days, we've had 5. The average is 1. So again, 2024, one to remember. And it just, again, reminds us how terribly dry everything is and primed for a fire. Temperature benchmarks. We've already passed the last average day of 100 degree heat, September 15th. September 27th is usually our average last 95 degree day. That we have passed, and now October 7th, average last 90 degree day. Now, the latest that we've hit 90 degrees is October 27th. So there are some signs that we're at the tail end of this. I mean, the last 100 degree record day for downtown Sacramento is October 10th. So we're just really closing in, but that near record heat due to that high pressure ridge will stay with us. I wanted to show you into our Friday, though, because you can see this little low, that feature is starting to adjust that storm track ever so slightly to bump it southward here. And that high starts to park its way over towards the desert southwest. But anybody that's lived in California long enough knows when you have a high pressure ridge over the desert Southwest. We still have access to heat, and that's why we're going to keep those temperatures at or above our average into our Friday and weekend forecast. As far as the long range 8 to 14 day climate outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, they are saying very likely warmer. And again, mainly because of where that high pressure is going to sit over the desert Southwest, but certainly getting access to that throughout the state of California. And as far as our rain, it does not look like we will hit that benchmark of starting off our precipitation cycle by the middle of October with a likely drier setup. Really not seeing any indications that we'll have our rain coming in. So our first fall rain, the average first day with at least 1/10 of an inch, October 7th. Looks very unlikely we'll actually hit that. Now, the latest day that we've actually had 1/10 of an inch of rain is December 11th. We could go all the way through October, November, into early December without seeing a whole lot of rain picking up. First day last year with at least 1/10 of an inch of rain, we were pretty much right on the mark, October 10th, and it actually followed suit. We dried out a little bit November and December, but things really started to pick up January, February, and March. Even into April and May, we were decent enough in terms of our rainfall. It was just kind of a later onset, but most of us ended up with near average rainfall for the year. As far as the forecast tomorrow, highs will be in the low to mid 80s for the Sierra, 90s, and already into the low 100s through much of the foothills. Look at this across the coast, 90 for San Francisco, Oakland, 95, Vallejo, 98 degrees, San Jose, 101. We're looking at 100 for Tracy, Napa, 102, Santa Rosa, 103. Gilroy at 104. Those grape leaves, I'm just thinking about Napa. It is not feeling like fall right now. Usually we see these beautiful colors starting to pop up for the Napa area, but not quite yet. As far as the forecast through the Central Valley, here you see it. We're looking at widespread 100s. One of the things that helps take the edge off a little bit in the fall months is that we have that later sunrise, earlier sunset, and overnight lows tend to be just a little bit cooler. This is a look at Tuesday morning lows, but when we reveal some of the longer range forecasts, you'll see how those lows kind of start to bump up a little bit into the warmer category early Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll look at our mountains forecast for the next 5 days. We get a little bit of relief Friday and Saturday, but this is still going to be well above average. Same for the foothills. Normally we'd be talking about Apple Hill and getting those apples and pumpkin patches, but those temperatures just not kind of putting those fall feels out there. Near 90 for Tuesday for the Bay Area. We're still hovering in the mid to upper 80s on Wednesday. A little bit of relief Thursday and Friday, but we're back near 80 on Saturday for the coast. Our 3-day forecast featuring those 3 weather impact alert days. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Highs will be hovering right around 100. Little relief on Friday through the weekend. But again, those overnight lows, this is why I'm saying 66 degrees for a morning low on Wednesday really gives us a jump start on those afternoon highs and puts us a bit into some record territory, certainly for the northern San Joaquin Valley as well. Once we expand to the rest of the 10 days, we start to see some better relief by the middle of next week. But this heat is going to hang on well above average normal high this time of year, right around 85 degrees, and we really don't get there until the middle of next week. Instead, we're talking record territory Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Well, we've got more extended, in-depth forecasts just like this on our ABC 10 Plus app. I hope you download it. It's live, local, and always on. We've got our weather specials on there as well, including our Emmy-winning weather special, The Future of California's Water.